All right. Happy New Year, everybody. So, I know one thing everybody knows around New Year, everybody starts talking about, their New Year's resolutions, their goals, and things like that. And that's a good idea. My advice for you, anyway, is to not wait until the new year, but get after it as soon as it drops on your heart. Start chipping away at it. So, by the time the new year rolls around, you already hit the ground running. You're ready to go. But I will tell you this, whatever you're planning to do, whatever is on your heart to do, write it down. And I know it sounds cliche and everybody's been saying it, but I will give you a couple of personal accounts that I know for sure writing it down is more powerful than you may realize. So one story I have to tell is after I graduated undergrad, um, I decided I'm going to make a goals list. I'm going to write this goals list down and I'm going to tack it up on the wall so I can look at it and get it done. And I will say, those things on that list, it was about 4 items. I wrote them down, showed them to my parents. They were like, all right, well, yeah. And my dad gave me some advice that only a dad can give. He's like, hey, just figure out what you want to do and do it. I was like, okay, and I guess that makes sense because half the problem is figuring out what you want to do. But anyway, I wrote it down. It was on my wall. I looked at it. I was focused on it and I got it done. Bam. That was good. Now, fast forward. Here's something that blew my mind last year. So, coming down to the end of the year 2022, I decided, you know what? I'm going to make a list of things I want to accomplish this upcoming year, 2023. So I'm going to write this stuff down. And so I wrote a list. It was a kind of a short list. It was comprised of some personal goals, some professional goals, and maybe like some, wild cards, some recreational things, and totally doable within a year. So I wrote it down probably like November, December 2022. I wrote it down, but I don't know what I did with it. Lost it, couldn't remember what I did with it to the point where I forgot about the list. But around the end of the year, um, about the end of 2023, I was cleaning up, moving some stuff around, doing some things, and I came across this list. And I sat down and I looked at it, and to my surprise, I had accomplished everything on that list. I mean, you know how much can go on in a year? So much life, so much action, so much drama and, experiences. And sometimes I can be all over the place. I always got new ideas. I'm always trying a new hobby. I'm always doing something, you know. I didn't realize how much of a busybody I was, but apparently I am. But to my surprise, I checked off every box on that list. And that let me know just how powerful it is to write it down, to get it out of your head on paper makes it real. And you will write down the things that really matter. You're not going to write down something that you don't really care about so much. You're like, well, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. But if it means something to you and you really want to do it, then you write it down. You take the time, make the effort, write it down. So I wrote it down and I did it. And it's funny, you read the Bible, and I think Habakkuk could be jacking that up. Chapter 2, verse 2 says, um, write the plan, make it plain. Write it down. It tells you to write it down. Where make it so plain that anybody looking at it can take it and run with it because it's so detailed. It's so this is it. Plain and simple. So I wrote it down and that worked out for me. So here's the thing, coming into 2024, I didn't write down anything. I just was just in a place that I mean there was so much that I was like sorting out in my heart and everything and just really on a mission with God. So the beginning of 2024, I remember praying a prayer, and it's what I call a dangerous prayer. I mean, you got to be, it was one of those, I want to have total faith and reliance and trust in Jesus. And I didn't realize at that point, but the Lord said, yeah, gotcha. Say no more. Because last year was a growth year, but I learned something. So by the end of the year last year, I was brought to a place where the Lord said, now you got it. Now you understand the whole thing, why you were going through these same cycles in your life and these same situations. So the beginning of the year, he started off telling me about my ego and how my ego is getting in the way of the abundant life that he promised me, you know? And I'm thinking, it is funny when I think about the abundant life, I'm thinking John 10:10. I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. And so when I think about abundant life, I'm thinking money, you know, get up in the morning, money, eat my breakfast, money, lunch, money. And I go to bed, money. That ain't what it was about. And I realized what he really was saying to me. He said, if I surrender everything to him, then I would have the abundant life. And what the abundant life looks like for me, definitely, is being able to wake up in the morning in peace, not in turmoil, overthinking, you know, anxiety, depression, everything. But I just wake up in the morning and just appreciate waking up and just be so thankful at just like the things that I forgot to be thankful for because there was so many erratic thoughts in my brain. And so when he told me, like, listen, I just need you to totally surrender to me everything. Just surrender it all to me. Surrender your life totally to me. So here we go again, writing it down. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to sit down and make a list. So I made a list of everything that I pray about, every concern, everything that pertains to me that I pray about. So my relationships, my marriage, my finances, my dreams, my ideas, everything that I could think of in that moment. And at the top of that list, I wrote things that I am surrendering to Jesus. And what I found was after I created that list, whenever some thought popped up in my head, I would remember, you know what? Lord, I surrender that to you. And I release it and I walk in peace because I surrendered it to him just like he said I should. And so I can lay down in peace and I can get up in peace. That right there to me, peace, that's way more than money flowing all over the place because there's so many people, as you know, that are walking this earth that are overwhelmingly rich. I mean, they are so rich, but they have no peace. They have no joy. And you can tell by their lifestyles. So what I would tell you, make this same list. Surrender everything about you to Jesus. Also, right? Your New Year's resolution. Put it on the list. Put it in his hands and watch what he can do. Cause it's different. You've already tried to do it yourself. So many years. This same thing has probably been is this same resolution list has probably been the same list that you had for 10 years. Because you still didn't do it or you did it and you did stick with it. Maybe I'll do it again, but I'll do it different this time. Let him take the wheel. Let him do it. I was trying to play the guitar one time, so um, my wife and daughter bought me a guitar for Father's Day. So I took that guitar and I started taking lessons. and I'm plucking around. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure it out. And so I get to uh, my instructor, and he has my guitar. He's like, "Let me see that guitar." So he takes the guitar and he's playing it. I mean, he's making this guitar do things I didn't know a guitar could do. It's sounding like other instruments and all this stuff. Mind blowing. So I just say, wow, look at that. This is the same guitar that I was just plucking on, trying to figure out the strings. And see, that's what your life is. That's what your resolutions are. It's one way in your hands, but it's different in a master's hand. Somebody who really knows what to do with it. Make that list. Put those resolutions on that list. Put everything on the list. Surrender it all. Everything. And let Jesus work it for you. Let him do it. Because I guarantee you're going to come out better. You're going to come out successful. And you're going to be walking in abundance. I guarantee. Happy New Year, everybody. That's the God and Games podcast.